Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Let me change my glasses because I can't see you from here. Welcome to a special edition of Ask the Nanny. This is the new year and I expect us to do new things this year.
Sorry.
We're having technical difficulties. Hold on just a second.
You have someone who doesn't know what they're doing. As far as that goes.
So, we have Chevelle Frederick here with us. And, hold on. Now I can't see with these other glasses. I have to switch back so I can read from far away. Now I can see you. Hi, Crystal. Happy New Year. Hi, Tanya. How are you? We have some special things that are happening today. One of the things that's going to happen is we have a special announcement before we get started. So, I am going to see if I can invite a special guest in. Bear with me, because let's see if I can invite in, let's see, I will just text them. Okay, so it's not letting me do that. But let me look back through and see if, no, I'm looking for Matthew. Okay. We have a special guest who has a special announcement to make, and I wanted to make it before we got started so that we can keep moving through the show. And, oh, he just texted me. Okay, so while we're waiting on him to come and make his special announcement, for those of you who saw the show last night about the gratitude jar, please, if you have any gratitude jars, please go on the last night's taping, I shouldn't say taping, last night's video and post your gratitude jar. Hello to everyone who just came in, Emily and Oma, and let's see who else came in. And there's Matthew. Okay, so Matthew is here, and he's got to get off of his computer and get on his phone. Hi, Laura. How are you? And hi, Glenda. How are you? Hi, Lucretia. So we have a big announcement. And hi, Allie. Hi, Catherine. Oh, you're in Switzerland. Well, welcome, Switzerland. Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Louise. How are you? Let me see if Matthew is on his phone yet. My fingers are
not long enough.
Not long enough. Let's see. And it's adding, it's adding, it's adding. Okay, we're just waiting on Matthew.
Hello.
Hi!
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. Can you see me okay?
I can see you okay. You're kind of like this. Now
okay.
You're like that. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, perfect.
Good. We got you.
Cool. I have a big announcement.
Yay! We're waiting on your announcement. I posted earlier today on my page, but I was kind of waiting before I hyped it up to talk to you tonight because I knew we were going to get this out there.
Okay. Myself, Daniel Butcher, Matthew Jekovich, Michael, I always butcher everybody's names, Mike Prochaska, I can never say his name, Matthew Zars, can you help me with these? Zarzewski.
You are doing better than me.
Zarzuski, and Manny Ash. Sorry, guys, for butchering names. I practiced this over and over and still got them wrong. But anyway, and Manny Ash, we all got together thanks to Angela, and we now have started the International Manny Association. It is official. We are in the process of turning it into a nonprofit in which we're like building putting in place the positions and everything that are needed to turn it into a nonprofit. So, and it's going to be big.
Yes, I am so excited. I know we have an International Nanny Association, and I know that some Mannies do participate with the International Nanny Association, but to have something specifically for the Mannies is huge. It's huge.
It is.
It's huge. And if you all know any Mannies or any male babysitters who are interested in the International Manny Association, please, please, please connect them on Facebook. You can look it up under the International Manny Association. I will post it. Have Matthew post it. Post it in the a link in the comments so that we can find you. And please, ladies, nannies, please let's support our Mannies, our brothers. Please go.
Please, yes.
Give them a review, whatever it takes, so that we can have equal pay and equal rights across the board. Because Mannies get a stereotype. They get stereotyped so many times, more quickly than nannies do. So we want to support our brothers and make sure that they have something specifically just for them. And please, 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 invite your friends to like the page, because I know everyone is not watching here. Please share the post, share this video. You can go down to the bottom right now and hit the share button so that all of your friends will know what's going on, who's doing what. So thank you, Tanya. And Tanya, who just happens to be on the board, not just the board, but one of the presidents of the INA. She is so excited, and I thank you, Tanya, for your support of me and of this webinar, and for thank you for supporting the IMA also.
Yes, and I am going to go now, let you have your show, but I'm going to go practice everybody's name so I can get it right next time. So,
okay.
And thank you very much, because if it wasn't for you hosting that talk where you had all of us on and everything, this would never came about. So I really appreciate all that you've done, Angela.
You're welcome. And whatever you need, just let me know. I am here.
I will definitely do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yep. Talk to you later. Have a good one.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have it. The IMA. Okay, so I assume you don't know how to get out of here, Matthew. Let me
Correct.
Okay, now you have it. We have the INA, which is the International Nanny Association, and we have the IMA, which is the International Nanny Association. Now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about newborn care specialists. And if you don't know what a newborn care specialist is, me, and especially her, because she has helped me through so many things. I can't tell you, when I first got started, she was the one. But before I talk to her, I want to invite Tanya on. And let's see, where is Tanya? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Now, we're adding Tanya. Nope, I guess. Oh, yes. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
We're so excited.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So,
Tell us about, oh gosh, it was an echo. English speaking you
You're cutting out, Chevelle. What did you say?
You may
have to call down a little bit of that.
Is that a little bit better?
We can hear ourselves more broadcast.
I'm having a really hard time hearing you now.
We can
hear ourselves
on your
broadcast. It's echoing.
Yeah, I don't know. I can turn it down more.
Do you
have your phone?
No.
Okay.
Is that better at all?
It's not
the visual.
We can
hear ourselves
through your
Not sure what to do.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just let you talk. Let me give a couple of webinar for so you want to be NCS.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
NCS.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you
with the
webinar?
So it actually, the webinar was not my idea at all, actually. It was Chevelle's idea. And she shared with me the fact that she has done mentoring for a lot of newborn care specialists, but specifically that she was talking to a lot of nannies who were wanting to transition to newborn care, or people who were brand new as newborn care specialists and who were reaching out to her and saying, I need some help. I might have really great teaching. I took a class, but I'm not sure where to start. Or do I even need to take a class? Or I've worked with babies for 15 years. Why would I need to take a class? And if I want to do this, how do I do it? How do I make that leap, that transition from being a nanny to a newborn care specialist? You know, I'm afraid to take that step. I'm afraid to go forward. And she said she was getting so many questions, and we got to talking about this and talking about how she's supporting so many people, and that a lot of times it's easier for somebody who thinks they want to do this or is just getting started to talk to somebody who has recently gone through it versus somebody like me who's been a newborn care specialist for a long, long time. Sometimes that's intimidating, and it's a lot more comfortable talking to someone else. And Chevelle communicates really well. She's very well spoken, and she's a very clear, direct communicator, and you can hear the care and the compassion in her voice when she talks to people. She loves to help. And so we were talking about this, and I said, you know what? You're helping so many people. I'd like to come alongside you. I'd like to come beside you and support you. We have the infrastructure. We have the ability to provide the platform, and you can be the material. You can be the voice. You can be the one to help support these people and really help them grow their career. And so we decided we wanted to do this webinar. We're going to do a webinar very shortly, and just to offer it free of charge to nannies, newborn care specialists who are new out there, even experienced people who'd like to learn a few new tricks, because the reality is there's a lot of us that can still learn a few new tricks out there, no matter how old we are and what we've been doing, right? And Chevelle has so much to offer from her experience and her heart and everything that she's got going on. And so we said, let's give this a shot. Let's see what happens. Let's see what people think, and then we'll see where this goes. And so we're hoping to be able to turn this into something much bigger and much more than just one free webinar. And so we have some exciting plans in the works depending on what people tell us. And if they say, yeah, this is it, this is what I wanted. But we hear from people a lot that they want that little bit of extra help. And so Chevelle had this great idea, and I just said, let's run with it. Let's see what happens. Let us be the platform to help bring you out there. And if it goes forward, we'll see where it goes. But we're excited.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let me
volume
find
down
it
to see
to
if
see if it helps with the.
Okay.
Hang on.
Hang on. Let me turn. Okay.
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 That's better on my end.
Okay. Yeah. Bring yours down.
Okay.
Okay. My volume.
Yeah, it's much better on my end.
Okay. So we're to say goodbye to. I'm going to talk to them, and that way we won't go anywhere about.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now I am talking with Chevelle, and for those of you who don't know her, Chevelle has a new business called The Baby Help. And how long have you been in business?
Ooh, just about a year officially by myself. There's lots of ways of how I came to having the baby help. But generally, I still am a nanny. I still nanny 30 hours a week during the daytime, and also am an NCS at night. Right now, my client is 4 nights a week. But I've done a little bit of agency work and solo work, and at one point when I started to have a lot of my own clients, I decided, what name could I come up with? What do I do? And so I help people with their babies, so that's where the baby help came from.
Kind of like where the third parent came from, when a parent introduced me as, oh, she's our third parent. So a lot of things, they come along and they stick. So I'm just going to tell you from my experience when I went to, what was it, the International Nanny Training Day in 2017. I was looking to change careers because I had an injury at work. And the doctor told me, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I had a list of gotta do's. And I was like, no, I love my children. I don't want to give them up. And then it occurred to me that babies, I can work with babies. I can do the overnight because by the time I get done with my contract, they're still like 10 pounds. And my weight limit was like 20 pounds. So when you're lifting a toddler and when you're lifting a baby, it's a totally different issue. So I decided I needed something. But along the way, I kind of got sidetracked and I never went into the babies. Did ask the nanny, and I'm so glad that I did. But then Chevelle was right there by my side. You need to keep doing this. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I was convinced and trying to convince her to jump off the fence. Come on, you can do it. So we're going back and forth. And then when I said, okay, Chevelle, I'm going to do it, set me up. And so she's like, okay, so you need this, and this. And I got overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, so I've done this before as a nanny, but not as an NCS. And then I took the training to be NCS on Tanya. And once I got to Tanya and I got in the classroom and I was like, I know more than I thought I did. This is not so overwhelming anymore. So when I went to Chevelle, I was like, okay, so I'm ready now. I was working part-time as an NCS, and I was like, okay, I'm ready now. I'm going to just jump out there and I'm going to go and do it. And she has supported me in all my crazy ideas and all my silliness and all my stupid, what I call stupid questions. She has supported me the whole time, the whole way. And I know she gets questions from a lot of other people because I can't be just the only one. But I know that she has a plan. And when she told me to line all my little ducks in a row, and I got my ducks all lined in a row, I went from being booked from May of this is 2019, from May of last year all the way through March of this year. And I don't even know how I did it. I don't even know how it occurred. It just happened. But I know if she hadn't built up my confidence and said, you can do this, you got this, just do this, just do that, tell them this, tell them that, it's in you. And all the questions you did, I mean, she just took me step by step through it. And I am so and forever will be grateful to her. Now I'm going to let her tell you about how she handles being an NCS. Because my experience as an NCS and her experience is totally different.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. First of all, thank you very much for having me on this show. This is really exciting for me. I really do like mentoring other people, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but I just remember when I first started as an NCS and I had so many questions. I've been an NCS for just about 3 years now. And I had so many questions, and I would be in some groups, and I would, sit and watch and see what other topics were coming up, and it was just so overwhelming. So over the last few years, I've realized that there are several general topics that new NCSs or questions that they have that are all very similar. And so, in being in Newborn Care Solutions Elite program as a new elite, I was able to sit down with my mentor, Tanya, and I told her, there's so many things that so many new NCSs and some people who are transitioning, they have questions about how can I develop something where I can help a lot of people at one time. And so she challenged me to come up with, I think it was 25 different topics that I thought a nanny who wants to break into an NCS role would be interested in or have questions about. And so I sat down and it just started pouring out, and I think I came up with like 48 different topics in different situations that, as a new NCS, I either had or other people had asked me along the way. And so I sat down and kind of refined those and came up with quite a few topics. And so this webinar, I was challenged kind of to come up with a small program. So this free webinar is actually about 4 or 5 topics that I think are important, starting from the beginning.
Okay.
As to what is a newborn care specialist, what's the difference between a postpartum doula, a newborn care specialist, and a nanny. Making the decision, which is a big issue, is making the decision to actually become an NCS because of training, and people are saying, oh, it's so expensive and, coming out of pocket. And but what happens is you make that money back so fast.
Yes,
even
you do.
As an intern or as a new NCS, you make that money back so fast within your first couple of weeks. It's really an investment in yourself and any training that you take. Once you start with that, you start taking training after training after training.
Yes.
And it really does add to your services that you can offer your clients. So, I wanted to describe, making that decision and jumping off the cliff, so to speak, to become an NCS. And if it's the right career choice for you, it's not the right career choice for everyone. You may love babies a lot, but there are, other considerations that you need to take into account when you become an NCS. And then I also want to describe what a night in the life of an NCS is. What happens when we get there and when we leave. What happens from the beginning of a contract to the end of the contract, depending on. So I just felt like it was really important to share those kinds of things. And then other topics, this webinar is is something that people actually want to hear more about. There's so many, like I said, I came up with a list of like 40 different things that I would love to share with people, like building your reputation in your market, your resume, and why it's important to have one, and how it helps sell who you are, and your services. Agency work versus solo work, because I've done both. There's so many topics, networking, there's so many topics that people don't really tell you when you first start out as an NCS. You have to find these things out on your own.
Yes.
And so if I can help someone with giving them kind of a heads up, there's work that you have to do. You're going to have to put a lot of work into being an NCS, and it will test you in a lot of different ways. But if you have it, and if I have it, a lot of people, other people have it, you can do it. But it's helpful to kind of know ahead of time what you're getting yourself into and how much work it's going to take. And once you do to make that decision, if it's right for you, it's an amazing life. It's an amazing life.
It is. It's life-changing.
Very much so.
It is a lifestyle change, because the first, and I'll be honest, my first week, I was working from 8 to 6 at my nanny job, and I was working from 10 to 6 at my overnight NCS job. So it was like 2 hours in between. Okay, I would go there, I worked in one town, and I had to travel to another town, which was like basically about a 30-minute ride at that time in the morning. But I was like, okay, so let me find a parking lot so I can take a nap. Let me set my alarm, put it beside my ear so I can hear it when it goes off, so I can go. And the good thing is that the older 2 kids went to preschool, so I just had the baby. So when she took a nap, I was snoozing right along with, I was sleeping right outside her door. The way it was set up, there was a little couch outside of her bedroom. So I was on the couch with the monitor right at my ear. So trust me, it took some getting used to, and it is not for everybody.
Right.
But once I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and I handed in my resignation, I jumped off. I was like, okay.
She did.
I told Cheryl, I said, am I crazy? I said, I just feel like I'm losing my mind, because I'm working here, I'm working there, I'm working. I said, I'm just like, am I at home tonight, or do I go to work tonight? I was losing days. It was just like, ah! So at that point, I was like, okay, I want to do this, and I want to do this full time. My doctor had already advised me a year and a half ago to start doing something else, looking for something else. And so I said, you know what? And then when I did, all the problems that I was having physically, they kind of magically disappeared. Now, other problems, because I wasn't getting enough sleep. But after I learned how to schedule my sleep, and how to, when babies are first born, there's a period of about 6 weeks when they're just gonna be awake. And I work with twins. So it's different from working with a single baby. Yes. I've worked primarily with twins since May of last year. And it is different because you got 2 babies, and when one cries, it's kind of like an avalanche effect. Mm-hmm. So that's just my experience. When you're working with a single baby, it's totally different. But I haven't done that in a while. So, especially overnight. So that's a totally different thing. But I got used to it. Once I got used to it, I was like, and then taking the training, and it elevated me. It elevated my income. That was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, I can pay off this, I can pay off that, I can pay off this. But don't do it just because you want a paycheck.
No.
It is not worth it, because you will run yourself ragged, and you'll be upset, and you'll be biting everybody's head off. and it's not good when it comes to customer service with your parents. So, but yeah.
It's really important to understand too, that everybody's experience as a newborn care specialist is different. You will have a different, you know, my clients are different type of client than Angela's are from someone else that I know. So it's really important to know who your client is, what your niche is. Angela is like she said, she's a multiple specialist. For me, I still work days and nights, so I don't take on a whole lot of twins. I have taken on twins, but you know, I'm not about that life right now because I do need to sleep. I have a 2-year-old that I work with, and so I know my limitations also. So you will find that you will need to be very organized,
Yes.
Not only just for your work schedule, but for your personal life as well. But you know, it's very doable. It's very rewarding, especially on a personal level for myself. You know, I wish I just had someone to explain. You'll have to tell me because I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see.
No, Tanya said, what? No sex tuplets? No, Tanya, twins, 2. That's it. Nope, I've done triplets one time. And I realized that's not for me. Twins, love. More than 2? Yep.
That's a super special type of
yes,
NCS.
That's a Tanya and a Myrna and a Courtney. Those, you all, yes, you all have more experience and you have more, I don't know, you just got it all together and coordinated and everything.
It's a skill set.
Yes.
It's a skill set.
Yes.
You know, really...
you all have a special set of skills I don't have. And I'll admit that willingly.
And it's, you know, it's important to find out what your skill set is. You know, if you are a nanny and you've had lots of twins, you know, infant twins as charges, and that's something that you enjoy, then you can sell yourself as that type of NCS. You know, you have to find out where your skill set lies, and then you can become really good at that and seek out those types of clients. But like I said, you know, there were so many different things as a newborn care specialist starting out that I didn't know, and then just trying to transition. You know, my plan one day is to transition fully to just newborn care. Right now, I really love my 2-year-old because I've had her for so long. I've actually had her since she was, you know, a week old. So, you know, I have that relationship with her.
She's your baby.
She's my absolute baby. You know, I can handle doing nights and days. Not everyone can. In the beginning, I wasn't able to do it that way. You know, I had started off slow and worked my way up to more nights. But, you know, if this is something that people are interested in transitioning into from a nanny to newborn care specialist, or doing it simultaneously like I do, there are lots of things that will help with getting you a heads up so that you know what you're getting yourself into. And then, you know, should you, you know, accept the challenge, should you accept that challenge, you know, it'll just be very rewarding. So I encourage you to come and see what we're talking about. Some NCSs who are new and have taken training, this will be some information that they may know already, but hopefully there's something that I can offer to you that you will, you know, get some information out of it for this first one. But like I said, I have an entire repertoire of different things, of questions that people have asked me over the last couple years.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Emily says, how do you handle your sleep schedule working nights and days?
Well, for me personally, what I do is I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday with my charge during the day, and so I try to schedule myself Monday, Wednesday, Friday night, so that way I have Tuesday and Thursday daytime off and I can catch up on sleep. It was also important for me personally to have weekends off, you know, to have a life, so I don't generally work on weekends, so that I can do a lot of catch up with my sleep during that time. As the contract goes on with babies, you know, you learn when you can sleep and when you can't sleep.
Yes.
You know, as your sleep conditioning or sleep shaping, whatever, you know, your client at night, you know, you get to sleep a little bit longer periods. But generally in that beginning of the contract, it can be tough. It's real tough, and if you have twins, it's crazy, you know. So I try to manage my sleep. You know, I have days off. Now, if I was a full-time, you know, 5 days a week type of nanny, me personally, I would schedule my time where I'm only working a few nights a week. And each, you know, there are families out there that want 5, 7 nights a week, 24-hour care. There's so many different types of NCS work. But that's just how I handle it for myself.
Tanya says sleep is earned.
And then,
yes, because if you're good at your job and you get that baby to sleep,
yes,
that's right. A good 4-hour stretch, especially with twins,
oh,
man.
Yeah. Yo, new woman.
I'm telling you, yesterday I got off work at, what's today, Tuesday? Yeah, yesterday I got off work at 7 a.m. I came home, I got here about 8 because I stopped at the store. I got here at 8, I slept until 12:30. I went to church last night to help with the kids in the nursery for our New Year's Eve service. And everybody was looking at me because we were celebrating and playing music, and I was bopping around and going. They said, "You must have gotten some sleep." I was like, "Yeah." So when you find the time to get that sleep in, you get your sleep in, because like Tanya said, sleep is earned. And my babies are just barely, they are 2.5 weeks old. So they're still going through a transition of one's up, one's down. And so I'm like, okay, all right, guys, just 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes, a cat nap, something. Mm-hmm. So it takes a very special person to be an NCS. Mm-hmm. And with Chevelle, she makes it look so easy. I seriously, I talked to Chevelle. She said, okay, I'm napping right now. I will talk to you at such and such a time. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, okay, sorry, Chevelle, I couldn't wait. Can you do this? And she was like, okay, the short answer is da-da-da-da. But here's some research. And she just pushes it out there. And I'm like, okay. And I'm done. That's all I wanted from her in the first place.
You have to be really efficient at, you know, handling your own sleep. Yes. You know, you can't come home from an overnight shift and be putzing around a lot. You know that you have a limited amount of time. You have to get your rest, because if you don't get your rest, you can't service your client very well. Right. You know, and so you have to know your limitations. So sometimes, you know, that pile of dirty clothes is going to have to just wait so you can get, you know, your energy and your sleep back too. You know, you may have to turn some things down, but you know, to you know, turn some invitations down or whatever, but you have to, you'll end up becoming very efficient at what you do. So you find a way.
And you find a way to plan your time around your family, mm-hmm. and around your friends. And those of you who have friends that are worth their mettle, they will be there when you get off your shift, when you stop sleeping, and find a time to get back to them and say, okay, hey girl, what's going on? Because right now, I feel like I'm missing a couple of my friends because I'm working 6 days a week from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And that's a hard shift. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So it's brand new for me, and it's a 12-week, 13 and a half week, because the babies were born early. And that's another thing. You have to be prepared if those babies come early, because you know babies come when they want to. You have to be prepared. You have to schedule yourself out. But Chevelle's going to let you all know about that. And, you know, this is just my experience. She's had different experiences than I have. She's been at this a whole lot longer than I have. I've done it from a nanny's point of view. And when you look at it from a nanny point of view, and the parent asks you, "Can you spend the night and help out with the kids?" And it's a totally different than from an NCS point of view, because it's your mentality.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. It's totally different. And I see the difference now, because I was like, I've done this before. I got this. I can do. I was so wrong. So wrong.
Yeah, so these topics that I was talking about before, it just kind of gives you a heads up on what to expect, so that you can make a better decision about, how you run your business, how you come across to your clients, how to get clients eventually. If we do that, it just goes further. But it's just being able to give you a heads up. There's those things that people don't tell you about. It's those little questions that you always have, that you may not have the answer to. So I just remember how it felt, and I just wanted to make sure that people understand what they're getting themselves into. But it's like I said before, it's very rewarding. I love what I do. I love both facets of what I do, being a nanny, and being a newborn care specialist, and how people transitioned from being an NCS to newborn care specialist. They're all different types of stories.
Yes.
Some people did it like I do, where they do a few days a week. There are people who just, banzai and jumped off the cliff. You have to take into consideration a lot of different things in your life.
Okay.
So, just really important, just to have all those considerations in front of you.
Okay, yes. I totally agree with Tony. Said that training can't cover. There's a lot that training can't cover, no matter how good it is. And that's true.
Yes.
Training teaches you the scientific parts of the baby, what to look for, how to look for it. But you got to have some umption in your own gumption.
Yes.
In order to be able to deal with the babies and deal with the clients and deal with all the other stuff that comes to do with being an NCS. And that's what Chevelle is here for, to tell you about all the other stuff that you have to deal with. And I can't wait until Sunday, because I know not only the 48 or 45 or 48, whatever, however many topics she's come up with, I know that there's more questions that she probably hasn't thought about, because once you get in there and it just becomes, okay, you get in a rhythm, and you know what needs to be done, and but when you're on the outside looking in and you don't have that rhythm, you're like, okay, so how do I do this, and how do I do that, and when do I do this, and when do I do that, and where do I sleep? And a lot of that has nothing to do with what you learn in training.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
like I said, I am forever, forever, forever grateful to have a Chevelle right here with me, so I can bug her like, Chevelle, I need some help. I don't know what to do about this. How do I do that? How do I tell the parent this? How do I do that? How do I ask this without sounding condescending, without sounding like I'm a know-it-all? How do I do it? It's a lot of things that come into play that don't necessarily come into play when you're a nanny.
That's a really good point, Angela, that it is similar in some ways, but it is very, very different in how you go about your job. And it's really important to know that there's things that you can't anticipate. And there's things that haven't come up in my experience. I've done pretty well, but there are things that I just haven't experienced yet. And you learn and you build upon each one of those experiences. It's really important to, once you come across something in an experience, you file that away for later, because it's going to come back up somewhere, or someone it's going to come back up. Sometimes what I do when I learn things, it's because somebody else has gone through it and they posted it in a group, and I'm like, ooh, hold on. You write that down, because it's going to come back. So,
yes.
But it's really important to know that some things you don't get from training. Training is amazing, and it's definitely how I learned techniques and how to work with babies, but also the growing as an NCS part, starting off, that's a whole different set of questions and issues and
Yes.
and experiences.
Okay. Now, just in case you all haven't hit the share button, because I know that you may not think that you have friends that want to be an NCS, but just because they haven't told you does not mean that they haven't thought about it. So I need all of you all to look down at the bottom and hit the share button and share it with your friends, share it with your nanny groups, share it with, your boyfriends groups and whoever else you need to share it with, because becoming an NCS it takes a very special person. And becoming a nanny, period, takes a very special person. And then you narrow it on down to becoming a specialist. I specialize in babies, in newborn babies. And it's different when you get a baby at 6 months old that's crawling and, you learn their cries and everything, as opposed to a newborn and someone that's like you can hold in the palm of your hand and you're like, okay, am I going to break it? And you get scared. It takes a very special person to be able to maneuver around that little baby and dress them and put Pampers on them that are 10 sizes too big, but you got to shrink it down to make it fit their little bottoms. And trust me, it takes a lot. And they don't teach you all of that in your training. But when you get a mentor, someone who is going to answer all of those what you think are stupid questions, or I know this is going to sound crazy, or I know this should be common sense, but I can't think right now, because sometimes you just get sleep deprived and you just need someone to say, hey, calm down, you got this, just do this, and this, and you're like, well, I knew that, but you don't think about that because you're so into it and you're so frustrated about it because you can't figure it out. When you have a mentor or several mentors and you have a network, trust me.
It's everything. Everything.
Everything. When you hear me, I say everything. I mean everything. Trust me. And I want you all to join the webinar. Kelly has already put the link into the comments. And I will go back and put the link again in the comments for those of you who missed it. And so you won't have to scroll back up. I will put it in there again. And please, please, please get your tickets. It's a free webinar. So get your tickets for the webinar on Sunday night. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're on the East Coast, 7 p.m. If you're on Central Standard Time, like I am, 6 p.m. If you're on, Mountain Time? Mountain Time, that starts at 5 p.m. So, wherever you are throughout the United States and in Switzerland, because we have someone in Switzerland, please, 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 please enjoy the webinar, the information that you're going to get, the laughs, because I'm sure there are going to be some stories. But I tell you, there's nothing like having someone to mentor you in whatever you're doing. I am a hands-on person, and I learn by seeing and by doing. And when someone tells me, I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. But when someone shows me or gives me a clue as to a video that I can go and watch and say, oh, so that's how they do it. Yes, you need one of those. Florida is 7 p.m. Yes, Florida is 7 p.m. Yes, Dave. Florida is 7 p.m. I used to live in Florida. It depends. Wait. It depends on what part of Florida you live in. If you live in Panama City, it is at 6. because they're on Central Standard Time. If you live beyond Tallahassee and over to the rest of the state, then you're on Eastern Time. So just remember that. And there are parts of Georgia that are on Eastern Time too. So Columbia, Georgia, you're on Eastern Time too. So it's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So South Florida, yes. Okay, South Florida, yes, it's 7 p.m. Zadie. So mentors are, Crystal said yes, mentors are a must. So, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Just that I'm humbled. That I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that had all these questions, because I know when you first start off, you're like, okay, like you said, I have one more question. Okay, but what happens when this happens? And I'm just I'm humbled that I could help someone out to answer their questions and not feel lost like I did. I'm still learning. So. I have different situations that come up that I still have questions about, but I'm humbled and grateful that I can help somebody else out with just knowing the ropes a little bit better. That's all. Yay! Thank you.
Thank you to Tanya.
Yes.
For partnering with the Baby Help. And trust me, the Baby Help has helped this one with the babies. I promised you. But everyone, please get your tickets for the webinar on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's support our fellow NCSs, our nannies, because we're both nannies turned NCS. And push comes to shove, we can go back to nanny, back and forth. But let's support one another. Please, please, please. And even if you think you know everything, there is always, always, always something to be learned. Because even when I listen to things, I may read the same thing over and over again, and I got something out of the first time that, and I'll read it again. It depends on what mood I'm in or what's going on in my head. I'll see it a different way. So just because you know something, it may give you a new insight depending on where your mood is at that particular time. So don't think that, because you know everything, I got this, that you can't learn anything. There's always room for learning. And there's always room for improvement and little reminders of, I used to do that. Let me start doing that again. So please, please, please. Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say one thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It just popped into my head. There were some questions on the announcement about the webinar, about how to get the information to join the webinar, and you have to click on the Eventbrite link that's in the announcement, and then when you sign up for it, that information will be emailed to you on how to join. So I know that had come up a couple of times. So just know that you have to go and sign up for the webinar, and then it will keep your information so that when Kelly Gears sends out the information about the webinar, when it's going to happen and how to join it and everything, it's only once you go ahead and sign up through the Eventbrite link that's on the announcement. That's all.
So you got to work for it. I'm just saying. Teeny tiny bit. Just a little bit. To get free information, it's worth the work. Trust me. So be willing to put in the work so you can get what you need. So I will see you all on Monday. And don't forget, mark your calendars this Monday, we are having Ask the Parent live here on Ask the Nanny. So I am so looking forward to this. I'm so excited because it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm finally making it happen. And I guess it's happening when it's supposed to happen, because God always lets things happen when they're supposed to happen. But I will talk to you all on Monday. Have a great week. I have several different articles that I'm going to put out there this week for my nanny family and my Manny family. So I hope you will read them and take some information away from them and use it in your nanny and Manny jobs in what you do every day and with your kids. And we will see you all on Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday, right here on Ask the Nanny. Everybody have a great night.